Okay, so I thought I'd record myself drawing the lettering so that you can see, I guess, the steps that I take. Essentially, I break the letters down into strokes, and then when it comes to the block lettering, it's just a matter of seeing that shape underneath. Let's just start with just basic normal lettering. I put these guidelines in to help with where your highest stroke, where the highest part of the letter goes to, and where the lowest part, depending on how you want to draw it. You can sort of draw it in different ways. Just knock those back a little bit, but sometimes when I was practicing would do this. So here's the whole process. You can see that I'm breaking it down into the strokes. But the real way to use this these guidelines is that it should be like this. You can see I'm breaking each one down into its strokes, and I lift the pen off after each stroke that I lay down. So lines just really help you keep it at the same height. Helps with your spacing a little bit as well. And of course, you might have different ways that you do the letters, but this is how I tend to break them down. And when I first was learning how to scribe, I would spend quite a bit of time, like on the train or bus or whatever, writing, well, drawing letters in my journal because I had lines, and slowly get bigger and bigger letters. You can get lines going vertical as well if you want to get really precise, but that's how I do just your standard sort of lettering. Simple way that you can make that more interesting is by adding a second line. So we just do that. And of course I'm only doing block lettering at the moment. The other thing you can do is just grab a font from your computer and have a go at trying to copy it. But though I'm drawing this on my computer, I'm thinking about what's the sort of quick ones that you can possibly draw on the wall. detailed you want to get, you can add these sort of serifs. Just makes it a little bit classier. There's no really rule here either, I'm just sort of making it up how I think I want it to look as I go. You can get into obviously detailed lettering books and understand the whole process. Even become someone who makes fonts. Right, it's more about speed rather than so there you go, there's another sort of font. Another one that I've been getting into more recently, and this wouldn't been done in caps, sort of the brush script. It's a bit more complex in that on the downstroke you're trying to make the line thicker, and then on the upstroke thinner. It works obviously with a brush or a calligraphy pen because it naturally, if you apply pressure to the brush, then it naturally does this, makes it thicker. It's a bit harder when you're using a whiteboard marker, but you can use the thick and thin sides of a chisel to have the same effect. And just a lot of people are doing this sort of stuff, hand lettering now. It looks kind of good. We'll see. It might take a little bit more time on the whiteboard, but maybe for something when you get to sort of predetermine or pre-create stuff. A bit of fun. And there's whole ways to practice this, like just doing the L's over and over again. So it's about getting similar sort of loops and pressure. Another way is doing the C or the I. I mean, this is sort of the shape of the C or the I or E. See, I haven't practiced that one much, but I've got whole books on just learning those sort of shapes. And the other thing you can do with this one, which I quite like, is you have the lines there. Play with the sort of the up and down. See that you can have a bit of fun with it because it all links together like that. But there you go. So what I'll do now is we'll move on to block lettering. So turn all those off. And like normal lettering, we're doing breaking up into the strokes, etc. What we can do with block lettering is sort of do the same. So there's two ways to teach block lettering. You draw the A, and then you draw the A over the top. This, as you can see, instantly forms your block lettering. Oh yeah. Yeah. Sort of how we did 3D shapes, really. B's a bit more. You've got to add a little bit more, but if I colour in, you get the block lettering, yeah. The other way is, if you think that we build an A like that, then we build a block A. In the same way, same with the B. Just working out where the blocks are. And then of course you need to remove the interior lines. So I picture it in my head and just draw it out. And you can see it's not super accurate line thickness, it's probably not as neat as the other one. But then over time you can get used to free flowing nature of the lines, and you come up with your own sort of So start to play with some graffiti styles, I guess. So there you go. So let's draw the block alphabet. I'll do this one across more lines so you can see it. So I'm trying to get similar width and thickness. You can see that it's not perfectly accurate. But I don't mind that either. And I'll show you a couple of different styles of block lettering too. You sort of can change just by changing the thickness of, or the thickness of the blocks. You can get different fonts out of it. So you see the W's and M's differently each time, so again, choose which way you want to go. So that's one block lettering. You can see it's not completely even, but it has character and actually looks not too bad. And it's actually only when you start to put the letters next to each other that you can into words. You know, is when you really see how it all comes together, especially when it's a hand font. So the other way, so just see what we come up with. We'll draw another font now, and I'm going to just try and draw it a little bit, like the lines a little bit thinner. like to actually do in my font, a lot of the time I'm doing lowercase e. See, you choose sort of different proportions and stuff depending on how thick or thin you make your font. Next. There you go. Sort of medium one and a thin one. And I'll do one more, which is a little bit more thick or bubbly, and then we'll do some bubble fonts as well. So hopefully these videos are helping. Take this back up the top. And just save this document. And we might pause for a second. Okay, so like I mentioned, we're going to draw some sort of meatier, fatter block letters. Another font to try. I guess the thing that you can see here is that this is there's barely even much like gaps between or distinction in the line. So whereas the thinner one, like this, all we're doing is making that line thicker by degrees. So it's so much more thick that doesn't give much space for everything else. And the same with any of the other letters. All we're doing is making them really bringing this thicker. taking the original letter and making it thicker. Yeah. Let's get rid of that tool. And then we'll just draw out the rest. So one idea. So it may not be so helpful, but I thought if you could see the lines that I'm doing, actually I would change them. You might get a better idea of how to draw them yourself. Follow the same process. So really, I mean, I guess how I think about it is you keep the original shape of the letter in your mind, but you just play with how different it might look. And because these are so big and fat, I'm just sort of over exaggerating them now. Barely any indentation, etc. I don't quite like this lettering. Could be better actually. I'd like to actually think of these as like really heavy, little heavy characters. I feel like it helps me draw them. Sort of feels like the font's changed as well as I've drawn it, so something I guess to think about is going back and looking at what you have drawn and just making sure the whole font holds together, makes sense, sit next to each other. But again, this comes out when you I find it comes out more when you are actually making letters, making words with the letters. So there you go, that's an even thicker version of block letters. The last one I'll do is I'll do some bubble lettering, so making it look more like bubbles, sort of what we used to do in high school, I guess. So I'll just save that. Okay, now I'm going to do bubble lettering, which was sort of popular thing that everyone did in high school, I think. But it's the same sort of thing, but just lots of makes it look like they're the letters are balloons essentially. So we'll just here we go. So you can see it's apart from a C, which lost this bubble sort of look. The sort of thing I'd say with all this is sort of just need to trust that you know what you're doing. That the hand goes in the direction that you want it to. Again, and you can always start again. So. Well, the more you do them, the quicker you'll get it. Sort of playing with these different types. And sort of with this one, it's long sweeping lines to make it look the way it does. The other thing you can do is say I'm going to redraw the A. Add like the light to this. So as you get when you get a balloon, roughly drawn, but usually there's like where the light is hitting it and reflecting. So I just add that to the balloon letters in places. I mean, I could go along and do the whole lot, but just show you an example, and it really makes the letters pop off the page. Let's go back to, I think, get rid of all this. So there you go. That's all the lettering I'll be doing. So you've got all these different block lettering, double lettering, fat block lettering, brush script, etc. But the last thing I'll do is, I guess, words as shapes. So just some words, the way that you draw them on the wall can make them sort of mean the same thing as what the word means. And then that will be all the lettering. But I would also suggest there'll be a few pages in the booklet that you can practice with. And good thing, like you can go into your font book on your computer and you can print out the font, which is all the alphabet and stuff, and then you can just, see how that looks and practice it, or even just go into Word and type it all out, and then just practice the shapes. It's all about seeing it as shapes, not letters. So for words as shapes, I mean, the easiest one is if you think of big. And small. The other one is, I like to draw is sometimes. And classic one is look. Or a risk. Or old. Really depends how much time you've got to be able to play with them, really. Nothing looks good as do like the negative. You can play with all those. I'm sure there's thousands more that you can think of, but it's just another way. I find that sometimes it's easier to do stuff creatively with lettering than to think about, oh, what's the icon that I can do for that? If I can do some good lettering, create something cool with the way that I draw it, then it makes it easier. And then when you've got something really good that you can actually draw, like as an icon, then you've got this great mix of these really cool lettering, different ideas, and then something that makes more sense or is easier for you to draw, but it looks really planned out and well executed. So there you go. That's words as shapes, or yeah. Other ones I sometimes do is do change. So there you go. That's all the stuff on lettering.